I swear a lot.
It is 19 to 4 in the PM, and you're watching or listening to The Foreman. I am your host, Foreman, and it's been a day thus far, and by a day, I mean very little has occurred, actually. I think I'm getting another cold, which is wildly frustrating. I think I've been fighting it for a while, but finally I'm starting to succumb to it, because my throat's tickly as hell, and when I talk for too long, I can't stop coughing. I've managed to fix it today. A bit at the moment. I'm kind of monitoring it, but I basically just had to abandon a recording, so I was like, this isn't working, and I can't get more than like a minute or two without coughing furiously, and the audio quality is going to be fucking garbage, so I need to can this and come back to it later, basically, which is not great. So this is a very impromptu Foreman Talks, where I've had to just suddenly throw it together and be like, alright, let's hang out. And this is good, because someone did actually provide something of a topic recently that I can use. Don't know if I'll have anything interesting to say about it, but they did pose a question, so it's something I can do. And the comment was, you've played through lots of stuff where you raise units up, investing them into missions and whatnot. You've also been quite open about your doggos and being there to raise them up. What's it like? The difference between the two? Is there a difference in mentality between raising video game units compared to the obviously real and must be taken serious dogs? Caring for stuff in-game versus IRL. And to be honest, for me, this is an interesting perspective, because to be blunt, I've never really made a correlation between the fact that I care for a lot of animals and that I really enjoy management strategy games, usually involving raising up units and increasing their abilities and, you know, just general, and caring for them and then being sad when they fucking inevitably get obliterated by an alien berserker, right? I have never drawn a parallel between these two facts, but I suppose there might be something to it. But by the same token, there is a lot, as I'm sure you can imagine, that's very different. Caring for the dogs every day is not some, like, there's not excitement to it. There's no excitement to it at all. It's just a mundane, repetitive thing done out of love and care that makes me happy to have loving creatures around me, right? Like hanging out with the dogs all the time, and they're always happy to see you, and you get to see them do stupid shit, and you laugh, and then they, like, want to cuddle and stuff like that. You know, there's nothing there where it's like, there are no dramatic, cool moments that you do it for, if you get what I mean. I'm trying to create more of a parallel without just making it like a direct link between cool moments in a game and just real life. There are, I guess it's more in the small moments, you know? Like I pretty much just described, where a dog looks up at you, or like you come down the stairs and they immediately get up and start wagging their tail. Like how Libby will make funny howling noises and she'll run off and grab a bone and bring it to me. Not for me to take the bone from her, no, she just wants to show me the bone and she wants me to pet her as well. Or how Summer will bark at me if I am paying attention to the other dogs and haven't gotten around to her yet. But she also won't come up to me to get pet. She's happy to stay laying down where she is and bark at me until I go over and pet her. As examples, these are things that aren't like clear, crystallized, high-profile moments as much as they're the little things of every day that build up to make that entire experience pleasant and worthwhile. And there are many more. I'm not going to sit here and just list them off all day, but that's the general idea. Whereas in management games and the like, sort of like XCOM and LogCorp and the such, it is kind of like that, because it is, by these games' nature, you can even apply this to Barotrauma as well, where there are a lot of moments where things are quite dull and nothing's really happening. Once you figure out how to sort out your abnormalities in LogCorp, for example, entire days can go past with no real events taking place. Entire shifts go by where you can almost completely autopilot it, where you're not even thinking about much involved with how the day-to-day running of the facility takes place. You just send like your information team captain to go deal with that particularly tricky one because they've got the bonuses and you know what to do with them, and you just send the smaller ones off to go handle weaker abnormalities and stuff like that. But I do believe, because I started this off sounding like there was less correlation, but I actually think there's more in this moment, at least very specifically, but the day-to-day mundanity, which is definitely a crossover between the two concepts, between raising dogs in real life and raising units and characters in games. The mundanity of it, the periods of time that pass with nothing particularly eventful happening, breed familiarity, and familiarity breeds attachment. We, as a species, by our nature, typically become fond of / used to things that we engage with regularly, right? It's why people like having pets, because it's just something you see every day that you like seeing and it makes you happy. And it's much the same way in management games where you see your same employees every single day and you're like, yeah, that's my lad over there. I like them, they're cool. And then by the same token, not to get too dark, but when something happens to take one of those away in both contexts, it hits especially hard, of course, because that familiarity has been created, it's been made, it's there, it's very, very, very entrenched. And the absence of such rings harder than if you hadn't gone through all those mundane moments. So at the very bare minimum there is a lot of correlation. In terms of raising stats, I don't really train my dogs. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're house trained and they're friendly. Like, you can walk up to them and the worst they'll do is bark at you, really. They're a very nice bunch. But do I teach them tricks? Do I train them to do certain things? No, they're pets. They are pets. They're 100% pets, and they are house pets. They're all spoiled massively. Their only job in life is to be cute and affectionate. Like, alongside that, they can do whatever the fuck they want, basically. Whereas in a management style game, your Lob Corps, your XComs, or even Barotrauma, either playing with AI or playing with your friends who are maybe less experienced, a lot of the joy comes from watching them improve and being able to take on greater challenges with more effective subordinates or crew members or what have you. But even there, I think you can make a correlation, right? Hear me out, right? So, in a lot of cases, raising a pet, I would argue, or pets in this instance, I would argue one of the main joys is getting to know either the individual pet you have or the various individual pets you may have. To most of you, if you saw my dogs, they would all look the fucking same to you because they're all golden retrievers, right? Now, there are outliers. There are like some obvious examples, right? Some of our dogs' coats are just more pale and they're very easy to pick out. Like Winter and Cloud, for instance, you can pick out from a lineup quite easily. But most of them would look the same to you because you're not familiar with them. They're golden retrievers. You've seen probably a million on like TikTok and whatever. And by rights, they all have the same appearance to you and mean very little. But to me, each of those dogs is a distinct individual that I can pick out from like a mile away and whose behavior I recognize. Music makes little grunting noises when you're not paying attention to it. If you're sat on something, like if you're sat in a chair, she will climb up and she will just make loud, happy, like groaning and grunting noises because she wants to be snuggled and she wants to be up top. She wants to be up high and snuggled. Willow makes similar grunting noises when she wants food, but it's also a different noise. I can tell them apart instantly. I know exactly who's doing it. River is very cautious and will bark at things immediately if he thinks it's coming near the house. He's quite an anxious dog, but he's also incredibly sweet, and something like that will worry him and he'll come see you and like be near you, either from a protective instinct or something's out there and I don't like it instinct, and he comes to you for safety. Summer will walk up and just plant herself on your feet wherever you're standing and she'll just stay there, which is once again also something they sometimes do because it feels comfortable and secure to them to sit on your feet. It's surprising how much psychology is rooted in a lot of their seemingly miscellaneous actions, if you know what I mean. My point is that all the dogs have little quirks and features and identifiers that help them stand apart. And this is something you would see in various management style games, even if the game mechanics themselves don't necessarily support such things. Even if by the game's mechanics, all of these units, all these employees or what have you, all follow a basic template of stat, capability, durability, and risk of mortality, right? Even if it's actually just really fucking universal, like all of your employees, when you really get down to the nitty gritty of how the game mechanics actually work, are all in fact cookie cutter, copy and paste replacements with different coats of paint. Even if that is the case, when you're playing a management style game that you like, with decent presentation, good mechanics, and a good way of doing things, you yourself will assign personality traits and quirks and individuality to those units. Let's take one of my most famous examples. Actually, let's take my most famous example, right? Let's look at Orang from LobCorp, okay? Now, Orang, for those of you who haven't watched the LobCorp stuff and aren't into that, Orang is something of a legend on this channel. A lot of people are very aware of him, and that is because he was one of my first truly capable Lobotomy Corporation employees. He was there at the beginning. He was literally one of the two first employees I had. And he would go on to basically accomplish great things when you consider the fact that he was being controlled by someone who was entirely new to LobCorp, to the point where donning Justicia armor and weaponry he soloed one of the most powerful abnormalities in the game, and he didn't win, but he held it off for a long fucking time. And that moment, people still reference to me to this day, and it's been like 4 years. It's been 4 years since Orang did that, and to this day, whenever the name pops up, people are like, fuck, Orang was great, God, I miss him, God, he was so cool. People love him. But here's the thing, lads, and I'm not saying anything that no one doesn't realize already, you know, I don't presume you aren't aware of this, I respect your intelligence. Any other, like, nugget who had been trained to a certain degree and given that equipment could have done exactly what Orang did. 100%. It's the unspoken rule that we don't really talk about, and I apologize for talking about it now, but it's to convey a point. Any other nugget could have done that. Any other nugget could have been put into that position with those parameters and achieved a similar result. 100%. It is, in the grand scheme of things, easily replicable. Or at the very least, not that difficult to replicate. However, lads, it had to be Orang. No one else could have done it. You know what I mean? In that moment, when everything went wrong, when that monstrosity broke out of its fucking cell and was rampaging through the facility, killing everyone, who was going to go deal with that? It was going to be Orang. It was never going to be anyone else, because that's who he was. Not in terms of code, not in terms of ones and zeros, not in terms of pure flat gameplay mechanics, but in terms of my understanding and interpretation of the employees I had in LobCorp at that time. Who was going to face that creature down? It was Orang. It was always going to be Orang. It was never not going to be Orang. It had to be him, because the game, despite not mechanically supporting it, gives you a situation where you assign these individual quirks and potentialities to your employees. It had to be Orang. It had to be. A bunch of nuggets who are indistinguishable to the outsider hold great value to the individual who manages them, much like caring for a pack of dogs. Indistinguishable to the outsider, but the individual quirks and differences mean everything to the person caring for them, and they can pick them out. I could pick them out from a mob of like 50 dogs, probably. That's how well I know them. And I could pick out Orang from a fucking lineup and all, because he's my boy. Even now, 4 years later, I totally could. Evan mentions asking about a difference in mentality between raising video game units and the obviously real and must be taken seriously dogs. And this is an interesting thing, because in my mind, the root of this starts with the dogs and then moves over to gameplay, if you know what I mean. The dogs are taken 100% seriously, right? You know, a dog can get out on the road and it can get hurt there, they can get ill, they can eat stuff that's bad for them, they can hurt each other, boy can they, oh my god can they. There are a lot of things to take into consideration, so I'm always on max alert for them. The reason I get this is probably pretty obvious, but the reason I bring this up is because when I play management games, I channel that. My enjoyment of management and strategy games with like permadeath and the like draws from my personal experience of caring for and looking after real life animals. That's why I find those management games so engaging. Because in a weird way, I can engage with that feeling, which is a very strong feeling that dominates my decision-making, thoughts, and feelings for most of my general life, and explore it in a fictional setting with, in the grand scheme of things, zero consequences. I can take those risks, I can try things out, I can ride on the edge of that feeling without it ever having a serious negative consequence. Now, I would never try once to risk anything with my dogs. That's the thing. That's something I would never want to do in any capacity. And indeed, if you pull my dogs into a game, if you're literally like, okay, we're starting a new strategy game where you can have a fucking pack of dogs so you can send out on missions, I'm not sure I could play it, because I wouldn't be able to do it. If it's like, hey, this dog could die, I'd be like, no. Like, I've been able to make myself okay playing Darkest Dungeon 1 because, and I remember I wrote a little essay about this on Tumblr once. The Houndmaster, who is accompanied by a dog, the health bar, the sanity meter, and the potential, like, death's door, heart attack, all negative aspects that can happen to a character in Darkest Dungeon happen to the Houndmaster, not to the dog itself. And you can confirm this because when the Houndmaster dies, the dog is still there. The dog is alive. She sits next to her master's body. Which is why I'm okay playing Darkest Dungeon 1 and risking the Houndmaster, because I'm like, well, the Hound is not getting hurt, it's just the dude, you know? And that actually even pulls me into my favorite thing about the Houndmaster, in that I really do, out of all of the Darkest Dungeon heroes, I probably relate to him the most, because his animations, every animation he has, bearing in mind these are like two frame animations, you know, there's like literally just 2 frames, sometimes 3. Every frame of his animations shows how much he places the dog's well-being above everything else around him, including himself, especially himself. Where are the receipts? Well, we can establish this immediately, very easily, with the Houndmaster's defensive animation when he is attacked. Now, the whole point of the Houndmaster's fighting style is that he sends the Hound out to attack, to deal damage, or to protect allies, or to disrupt the enemy, what have you. But the moment an attack comes in on him, does he use the Hound to take the hit? No. He pushes the Hound back with his free hand and puts his padded training mitt up to block the hit that's coming in. The mentality, the relationship, and the symbiosis between the Houndmaster and the Hound switches on a dime the moment the focus goes from offensive to defensive. Offense is the dog, defense is the man. Because the man is not going to let the dog get hurt. He can't. That dog means more to him than anything in the Darkest Dungeon world, by a wide fucking margin. And that's why my favorite hero to play as is the Highwayman. My favorite hero in general is the Houndmaster, because he'll push that dog back and step in front regardless what attacks him. Whether it's a bandit or the thing from the stars, it doesn't matter. He will step forward, he will push the dog back, and he will take that hit in the dog's place. Every single time, without fail. And you're thinking, Foreman, these are 2 frames of animation, it's not that deep. No, it isn't. But it is. That's precisely it. The mechanics are not that deep, but the way you interpret it, the way you see it, and the way it is presented, and the way the game allows you to see and interpret these things is real. And this is why I think I am drawn to management and strategy so much. Despite the fact I'm not really that much of a leadership kind of person in my own self, I do, by the same token, have something of a proclivity towards it and do enjoy the experience of it. And I enjoy that from the perspective of caring for those under my purview. In real life, that's dogs. I am the head of the pack, you know, they listen to me, and if they don't, I make sure they do. I don't use physical violence, but, you know, you stand your ground, right? Some like dog owners do, I don't. But you stand your ground, you raise your voice, and you're like, don't fuck with me, basically, because you have to showcase some level of strength to a pack of dogs to assert that you're in charge. But most of it is not that. Most of it is care. Most of it is perception. Most of it is seeing what's wrong, or seeing if there even is a problem and who it's applying to specifically, what the cause might be, how you can solve it, taking a moment to pay attention to that individual and being like, is everything all right? What's going on? Is it this? Do you feel like it's harder with a dog because the dog can't fucking talk? So I'm like, what's wrong, Summer? And she's like, I'm like, that's not helpful. I don't get anything from that. I don't know what that means. It's okay. She doesn't care. That doesn't bother her at all. She'll keep going. But yes, I like this style of gameplay because I do enjoy the management aspect. I enjoy managing people in a non-work environment. I would hate to be a manager in an actual fucking office or something. God, I would hate that. And indeed, even in my job, I don't really want employees with Foreman Play stuff. I want to do this myself. I think I might hire an editor if I ever get the money, but I don't want to have to sit and manage them. I want to be like, look lad, this is how I fucking edit my videos. Get on with it. I'll pay you every month, right? If you have any questions, ask me. But otherwise, I'm gonna let you get on with it. But like, you know, playing Barotrauma, for instance, I do enjoy managing people, and I enjoy talking to them and making sure they're getting what they need and trying to make sure that they're enjoying themselves as best I can. You know, I'm often dealing with between like 8 and 10 players when I'm fucking managing the submarine, so it's actually quite difficult, and I'm not sitting here pretending I do a fucking flawless job of it, because obviously I don't, but I do my best, and I do enjoy the process. To a point though, I'm not overly keen on, like I kind of expressed when talking about the dogs, I'm not keen on discipline. I don't like I don't like disciplining. I don't like telling people off. I don't like shouting at them. I don't like getting them back in line. Oku fucking loves it. I hate it. I don't like doing it. Unfortunately, I've been told in multiple, and it has been proven to me in multiple instances outside of Barotrauma, that I'm actually quite good at it. There have been times in my IRL life where I've had to set someone straight, and it seems to have worked each time. Apparently, I'm quite good at it. But I hate it. I hate it. I don't like doing it. I don't like shouting. I don't like getting angry. I don't like being responsible for someone else's behavior and having to put them back in their place. So I'm not actually that well suited to this whole management thing, you know? Like, I acted like I was. The reality is I'm not, because the negative aspects of it I firmly dislike. Although I guess I'm good at them, so I could if I had to. But I don't like doing it. Then again, who really likes doing that shit? I guess for some people, I don't think this is the case for Oku. I know I used him as an example. All I mean is Oku likes shooing people. That's the discipline he likes doing. He likes slipping into the role of the commissar captain and shooing people. He's not necessarily... It's not him enjoying shouting at people. He doesn't actually get angry much. He just is like, oh, you left that thingy on the floor? Well, that's a bolter to the knee then, isn't it? Yeah, it's all a bit. It's a bit for Oku, right? That's totally fine. I'm talking about actual, like, proper, talking people, dressing people down verbally and shit like that. I don't like it. Do not like it. I'm not a fan. I don't even like shooting crew members in games, actually. Like, on our sub, I've done it twice, and I'm not keen on it. I don't like it. I don't want that to be the kind of captain I am. I want it to be jolly cooperation as opposed to obedience through fear. Obedience through the fear of the consequences of the captain with 2 plasma pistols deciding that you need to be corrected. I don't want to do that shit. But I'm not trying to make this about Barotrauma. It's just another example I can draw from. But what I find interesting that I just thought about is that actually the title that Evan gave for this video, which I think I will use because it's a good one, which is caring for stuff in-game versus IRL. And here's the thing. We've been talking about management games where, like, XCOM and the like. But games where you care for animals is a real thing. That is totally a thing. My best example that I can think of, and it's funny because this is an instance where you can entirely choose to opt in or opt out. There's no requirement to do it whatsoever. But it would be RimWorld. RimWorld, I think, is one of the greatest examples I can think of animal care in a management game that I've ever seen. Now, let me explain. In my early days of playing RimWorld, obviously, this wasn't like my immediate experiences with it. My immediate experiences with it were 3 people gathered around a couple log houses who died because I didn't understand how any of the mechanics worked. But I played a lot over time, got better at it, understood how things worked, as you do. My best save file that I ever did, which is now long gone, I think updates would have killed it or something, but my best one was like a sort of snowy mountain biome where I set up a proper compound, as it were, and that compound's entire purpose was to raise dogs. As in, we had Labradors in that place. And they hadn't been neutered or nothing, so they would make more Labradors, right? So I just had I had a RimWorld colony with a ton of Labradors just running around the base, and the people there, the colonists, their job was to provide for those dogs and to protect them from any threats. I remember I had an utter dead eye of a sharpshooter. She was absolutely crazy accurate, super good. I gave her a great bow because she could absolutely use that thing well. And her mate, do you know how she became such a good fucking dead eye? Hunting meat to feed the dogs. But as a result, when anyone attacked, they would get a great arrow straight through the eye and drop instantly because she was pinpoint accurate, because she was out there every single day putting nose to the grind to find food for the dogs. And the funny thing is, in that instance, she developed a personality for me because she was our provider. She was the one out there procuring food for the dogs, and that made her incredibly important to me in the context of that game. But I think the reason why RimWorld is such a good example of this is because of everything that can go wrong. Now this leads back to what we were saying before. In real life, I take 0 risks with my dogs because I couldn't bear it. I couldn't fucking bear anything happening to them. Eventually, they will pass away. That sucks, and I will accept that deep in my soul. But anything happening to them prematurely, no. Cannot bear it. I'll do everything in my power to stop it. That does filter into me playing RimWorld. The problem, though, and I'm not going to mention specifics here because I don't want to fucking upset anyone, but if something goes wrong in RimWorld and something happens to one of the Labradors in RimWorld, I'm not sure I can even fucking keep going with this because that's too real. That hits too close. That is too close to what could happen, and I don't fucking like it. I respect it. I respect the shit out of RimWorld for its open-endedness. I respect it for everything, and this is not me indicting the game in any way, shape, or form. But when that happened, I was like, I really am struggling to emotionally bounce back from that hit, from that happening. I don't like that. Everything about that deeply upsets me. It's not the game's fault. I opted into that. Like I said at the start of this section, you don't have to have animals in your colony at all. They are not required. They can be helpful. I can confirm that having an entire pack of Labradors in your colony is not helpful at all. Even if you train them all to be attack dogs, they wouldn't get a lot done, I'll be blunt, and it would just be traumatic, frankly, the results of that. They're not useful. I opted into that because the game literally goes, hey, a couple golden retrievers or golden labradors have wandered into your colony, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll keep them. And then one thing led to another, and I had 1 million. Not literally, but mostly. But the combination there of a management and supply and resource challenge, combined with the constant need to be careful and to keep them healthy and to keep an eye on them and to build everything around keeping them safe, presented an emotionally satisfying and mentally stimulating challenge, which I was deeply into at the time. I think where the only point I think where the comparison breaks down, and this is going to sound weird because I have so many dogs, the part where the comparison breaks down in my specific instance between IRL and video games is A, difficulty, and B, the desire for challenge. Now in the game, I'm always up for more difficulty and more desire for challenge. In real life, I want 0 challenge in regards to raising the dogs. There is innate challenge, which is fine, and I accept that, but I mean, like, when I say challenge, I mean stuff that happens that makes our lives more difficult, or things I have to manage, or things I have to deal with. I want none of that for my dogs. I don't crave that in that experience whatsoever. I want them all to have happy, peaceful lives with no problems. I don't want any adversity facing them, basically. I don't crave any challenge in that regard. I simply accept what is already there and what may inevitably occur. But I don't seek it out, and I don't enjoy it. Like, that aspect of it I would not enjoy. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, my dogs are ill and this one's broke its leg. Oh, this is a challenge. No, that's fucked. I would hate every moment of that. That sucks. But in a game that provides, like I said, this fictional world where this doesn't actually have real consequences. It is instead just a simulated emotional and intellectual challenge for me to overcome for the purposes of an immersive experience that I am invested in. That is, I think, in regards to this overall topic, the main dividing line for me, where it doesn't actually correlate, which is, like I said, but once more, so people in the cheap seats, the desire for difficulty, the desire for challenge. That is where it separates. Everything else, there is a fair amount of correlation, actually. I know I could raise Storm to be a fucking assaultry because the amount of time he's headbutt me in the fucking chin means he's clearly good in melee. So there's actually quite a bit of correlation. But both definitely lean into the but both IRL and video game management and simulation, what have you, in regards to raising and looking after things, definitely, I say this with qualifiers, benefits from ups and downs. Purely because life itself benefits from ups and downs. This is nowhere near as deep a thing as I'm making it sound like, but it's very simple. Things can't always be good. Things have to be bad so things can be good, and things have to be good so things can be bad. It's a constant, ebb and flow of how things are going. We have rough times, then we have great times, and it's the same in these games as well. We have rough times, we lose soldiers, we have great times, which create victories, which establish personalities, and those soldiers then die, which create bad times, and then we build up new ones who then succeed, which creates good times, and that ebbs and flows, goes up and down. In that sense, it's also very similar. But yeah, I crave difficulty in my games because I don't crave it anywhere else. I like a nice, calm, simple, peaceful life with my nice, calm, simple, and peaceful dogs. But then I'll play a game and I'm like, yeah, I will stressfully manage 9 different disasters at the same time. Of course I will. I fucking love that shit. Because no one suffers if I fuck up. No one real suffers if I fuck up. I can just enjoy it. I can just engage myself without either having someone or something suffer due to my failings, or even having someone suffer as a result of my desire to test myself in some stressful circumstance, as it were. A lot of people in history probably could have done with a good fucking management game or two, might have kept them off the battlefield or something, I don't know. But that's all from me for today, I think, on this topic. There's no need to stretch it out. Thank you, Other Evan, for submitting it, because it was a genuinely good question, and I actually had quite a bit of fun answering it today. This is a bit short, I think, for the recent Foreman talks, but I've been coughing and spluttering a lot through this one. I've just actually been editing it out. So, yeah, I'm hoping I won't actually get properly ill, or at the very least, I'm hoping it's an illness I can kind of manage, because I got a cold recently, and oh my god, the monthly income from this channel dipped. It did a fucking dive bomb. I'm fine, don't worry, I'm okay. There's no like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my house or anything like that. I'm fine. But I can't just, you know, I'm not exactly rich either. Like, I can't have it just dip like that so much. So I'm going to try and keep on it. I also just want to do it. I feel like I say this all the time, but it's true. I don't not want to do it. So it annoys me when I'm like, I just can't bring it at the moment and it's not going to be very good. I shouldn't record today, even though I really want to. I'm hoping that tomorrow, at the very least, I won't have the tickly throat thing anymore, which causes me to cough after like 30 seconds of talking, so that we can actually get on with what we're doing at the moment. I want to get through Cult of the Lamb. I have one thing definitely lined up that I want to do. Narrative focused game though, so I might wait until 13 Sentinels is done, so that can be like the narrative focused game, and then maybe the Cult of the Lamb slot can be something a little more gameplay centric. I just coughed a lot. So as if to punctuate my point. Yeah, and I've got some ideas for a gameplay centric one, but I'm reviewing my options, and we're not done yet, so I don't have to make any decisions right now. But that's all from me for today, friends. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really sorry to do this to y'all, but I'm going to skip the Patreon read, because I'm just going to cough and splutter through it. I really am, and it's going to be painful. Obviously, the patrons will be on screen, and I thank you all so very much for your contributions. I really do. You help keep this shit running. I greatly appreciate it. I want to honor you as is appropriate, but I'd just be spluttering your name into the microphone, and I don't think you'd get much satisfaction out of that. I certainly wouldn't. But I want to pose this question to you guys, the same question that was posed to me, but altered slightly. We all have something that we do, or we all have an interest, perhaps outside of video games. We have something about ourselves that is not specifically video games, however minor that may be. What I want to know is there something in your life that you feel correlates with your desires in video games? Is there something you do or something that you're interested in which you're like, yeah, that's definitely why I like that kind of game? Or even the other way around, is there a kind of game you like where you're like, yeah, I think this definitely translates into something I either have an interest in real life or want to do in real life? Regardless whether or not you've done it, you know, not all of us have a lot of time to chase all of our fucking dreams all the time. Don't have to worry about that aspect of it, just stuff you're at the very least interested in, which may correlate with your particular preferences and personal enjoyment in games. I'd be interested to see some examples, because this question very much came out of left field for me. I wasn't expecting anything along these lines, so I had to sit here and think about it for a minute. So I'd be interested to see what your thought processes are on that as well. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Whatever happens next time, hope I see you there. Doodles. Goodbye.